Start the show. Hey, Andy, Jamie, how's Thursday?
Hey Scott, pretty good, man. Hi Jamie, how are you?
Hello, Wendy. Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's fun to have internet connectivity back. It's been
Yes.
plaguing me for a couple of days, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Well, yeah, I share some blues with you too. I just found out my daughter dropped my pretty expensive laptop and cracked it, the screen, and yeah, so I'm not real happy either. But hey guys, thanks everybody for joining today. This is the Trading Studio. My name's Andy. That's Jamie and Scott, and thanks again. Let's dive in. All right, before we do, let's go over the disclaimer here. We are content publishers. Jamie and I will be sharing some ideas today, looking at some stocks, possibly some decent setups, but nothing should be construed as investment advice. That's not what we're trying to do. This is for educational purposes only. If you are looking for that advice, you want to seek out somebody who's licensed, and that would be a stockbroker or a registered advisor. All right, the agenda for today, market recap and Holly recap as usual. And then I have to revisit this, guys, because I'm seeing this in the market. I talked about this last week, how, I think it with this action we're seeing in the market, it can benefit you to be a contrarian, and kind of go counterintuitive of the current direction of the market at times, especially if you're a short-term trader, maybe a quick swing trader, or even a long day trader for an all-day move or something like that. But I'm going to pull up these two swings windows that I shared last week, and we're going to talk more about them, and I'm going to give you examples of days where it would have been very beneficial to be kind of counterintuitive and be kind of maybe getting ahead of the crowd. And then doing something a little bit different with a compare count. Jamie's real good with showing the intraday action. Tweets it out every day about 15 minutes after the market opens. I know a lot of people like that. But we're going to go a little bit further out in this and take a look at 20 days high versus 20 days low. This may give you an idea of the underlying weakness and strength on a longer term time frame. So we'll talk about that. I'll share it if those. We'll also maybe take some time and just build it real quick, because that's always a good exercise. And then the price alerts game. That's going to be fun, because we forced everybody to do all shorts last week. And there were some pretty good ones in there. There were some real good ones, as a matter of fact. So maybe you guys, it helped you out. Maybe got some ideas about fading moves, and maybe developing a backhand, a shorts, if you will, when it comes to trading. So we'll take a look at some of those shorts that we did. All right, but first let's move on and talk a little bit about the 5-star support education and training here. We were talking today in our marketing meeting about putting together, redoing our document to make it more thorough, a little more informative for those people who really like to dive deep. And it just brings me back around how we're always trying to develop videos, documents, things that will help you understand the software easier. Now, granted, you can make this as easy if you want. As soon as you open up the platform, there's tons of pre-configured alerts for you, but we know that most people like to dive in and see what they can get out of it, creating their own windows, and that's great. That's kind of what you eventually want to work toward anyway. But anyway, we'll got a lot of resources. You can see over there on the left side, we do webinars Monday through Thursday in the same 5 Eastern time slot. And you can see the host in accompanying those webinars as well. And let's not forget the Traders Room. That's also a great place. It's not only for trading. Barry encourages people to ask him questions, especially after the first couple hours a day when trading may slow down. He knows the software very well, probably as good as anyone here. And yes, he encourages it. Like I said, if you're in there just to get trading picks and things like that, that's great. But if you do have a question, don't hesitate to ask Barry. He's great at helping out. And last but not least, the support webinar, okay, down at the bottom there. That's Monday through Friday. Let me just dive over to the next frame. Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern time. Okay, this is where we take over Barry's live stream, and we encourage people to come in and ask questions, and that way we'll have a visual to show you how to do something if you're trying to create a certain configuration, or you have questions, any question about the software. And you can see down there at the bottom how to get there at trade-ideas.com/live if you're not already in the trading room. If you're in there, just hang tight, and we'll take it over every Monday through Friday at 12 Eastern time. All right, I think the next one's for Scott, so we'll back out of this. And let's pull up the market. And sorry guys, I am on my mom's computer. I don't have my pen downloaded to this, I don't think, but that's okay. We can dive in here and take a look. And there you have it. You know, you can see right there in the SPYs as I zoom in, it looked like today we were going to break through that 50 possibly. And lo and behold, the buyers did come back in, defended that last short-term moving average. Of course, you got the 200, which is further down below. So they did defend the 50-day moving average, much like you saw over here, and closed below it that day, but didn't stay long. The next day, we're back above it. So, you know, the buy the dippers are still in there. Steve and I were both sharing thoughts the other day in the market that seeing a lot of corrosion in different sectors and underlying the weaknesses amongst all the stocks, but you know, not enough to where we're just getting bearish, where we're just you know, I covered my Tesla short today just because I'm not going to fight it. I had some good profits, and you know, I just may look to short it again if it gets another bounce into it. I've done it 3 times and done well in it, but I'm not going to fight the market when the buy the dippers come in. We've seen it way too much. And that being said, the Qs really didn't have the strength the SPYs did today. You can see they actually finished down on the day still. So still weakness in the NASDAQ, you know, the tech heavy Qs, but SPYs did bounce back. So once again, we're kind of going nowhere fast right now, and I'll have more to say about that as we talk about ways that you might want to trade this in the future. But SPYs are still well below their 50 and down below their 10 and 20 period moving average. So I'd have to say the bears are kind of still in charge right here as far as the short-term averages go. SPYs, I guess you know, you have to be, if you're bearish, have to be a little bit scared of that bar today, but we'll see what happens. You can see 4 times now it's tried to get back above that 10 period moving average. We'll see if it has a date with it tomorrow and see what happens if it does. But right now, I would say caution flags still have to remain out there as far as any upside direction goes, especially if the Qs continue to lag like they're lagging. IWM did have a nice little bounce back today, but still under pressure, much like the Qs, below its major short-term moving averages. Jamie, I did my best to cover it. If you have anything insights you might want to add, feel free.
No, sir, doctor. I pretty much concur with your analysis there.
Okay, great. Well, I know you probably don't have much to talk about in Holly today, but I know you'll do your best.
There's a smidge. There's a smidge in there.
All righty.
And the interesting part here is there is some, there's a little bit of everything. Well, can't say there's really a lot of add-on opportunities. Add-on opportunities being one of the 3 things that we like to break down here in the Holly recap. First off, let's see, where's my pen here? We like to talk about any spread that developed over the day between conservative and moderate. And although there are a couple of examples in the CRFX and the RAD here, not really that big. Okay, we got $0 here on conservative profit on the RAD trade, 31 moderate profit, -30 on the CFRX, moderate profit showing 48, so about a $78 spread there. Just nothing to write home about, but let's go ahead and take a look at those because it's always good to look at it because it does fit the bill. So just to reiterate here, conservative moderate spread is what we like to look at. Also, if there are any good add-on opportunities in any of the Holly plays. And lastly, any trade around opportunities. And there was a real decent trade around opportunity in out. Tell you what, let's just go ahead and pull up out real quick because this is textbook trade around opportunity right here, okay? So as we can see, buy signal comes in up here at 21.11, and what do? We just take a header straight down, little bounce, then boom, we get that stop out there. Now look at what that stock did at the stop area. Wick down, snaps back up, never saw that area again. Okay, so once we see this candle close here, and we're looking at 5 minutes on the intraday time frame, but once we see that candle close right there, I mean, you know, I never like to use the term no-brainer in the market, but you know, once that candle closes, that wick down, snap back above, you know, anywhere in this green bar here, I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to chase it too much, but that was a really good trade around opportunity. Seeing Holly get stopped out, noticing how the stock reacts around the stop area, and this is classic. This is really what you want to see when you're contemplating, hey, would this be a good trade around on a stop out? So that second mouse got the cheese there, and boy, not only did it reclaim the original entry area, man, this thing just kicked it pretty good for the rest of the day for some decent sized gains off of that pivot stop area there. So really good example of a trade around there.
And Jamie?
Yes.
Yeah, if I could add to that too, if you'll pull open the daily, you can see that was very much like the SPYs as well. So if you're watching the market and you're understanding that this is kind of a possible reversal play there, you can see it dove right down below the 50 and bounced right back up. So that wick he was showing you was basically the stock, you know, bouncing right back up on the 50-day moving average. So
and the pink line right there is the 50.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, consecutive bars in a row, don't going down and tagging the 50. And I'm with Jamie on that. If you're fortunate enough to be watching it, that would have, you know, been a nice little I'm like you. I don't want to say a no-brainer. There's no no-brainers in trading.
Yeah, it's the process is relatively simple. If you see a stop out, you know, you'll see the flash on the Holly blotter when the stop out occurs. You just pull it up and go, hey, all right, I like that wick. Well, let's check out the daily. Notice the correlation with the 50 period. Helps make the decision-making process a bit easier.
Yep.
Okay. Now, as far as conservative and moderate spread, just everybody keep in mind all the values that you see in my columns here are not the same values that you're going to see over here in the channel bar, because these are all assuming 100 shares per trade, whereas all of these figures are based around risking $100 per trade. So as far as any kind of spread goes here on the CFRX, well, I tell you what, let's just clip this back over to 15. And we can see here. Now, notice what this one did. Get long up here around the 450 area, and then it just immediately gets soft, almost gets down to the stop level. So once again, whether you were in this one or whether you're just monitoring the Holly trades, and that's a very good habit to get into. Once it starts opening trades, you just go through and check them all out and see what they're doing. Now, if you would have been watching this one, you know, 450 long, stop was down here at 417, comes very close to stopping us out, okay, but doesn't quite get there, all right? That's what hard stops are for. If we held it, we did okay. We wouldn't have taken this loss. We would have gotten to enjoy the upswing that didn't come until 1, 2, 3, about 2 hours into the close. The last 2 hours is when this thing really got some up and at 'em. But the bottom line is the shaded area here. This represents Holly's exit, well below the entry line, therefore showing the $30 loss. Whereas if we just stuck to our hard stop, we would have been okay. Maybe could have even, you know, if you were in it here, maybe this would have been a good ad opportunity, kind of a different version of a trade around. It didn't actually stop out. Not noticing any correlations here between the moving averages. I mean, this thing's well below all of them here. But once again, whether or not we notice any correlation on the daily, when we see this wicking action here, even had 45 minutes here, kind of tooling around that level right there, maybe it would have been a good time to add to the position there. But just as we have been talking about with the markets in general, up in this level right here, it's, yeah, we're not too far away from all-time highs, but we're not too far away from these levels here. If we get a couple of good days in there of selling, and maybe the 50 holds up, maybe we retest it again. But in any case, in these choppy areas up here, not only is it more difficult for us humans, but there's just not as much alpha out there for Holly to spot either. Now on RAD, this was a short play, and I am going to have to back it up here, go to 5 minutes one more time just so we can see a little bit more detail. Okay. All right, so not a bad short signal here from Holly coming in at 1901. Get an immediate drop for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about an hour and a half here, maybe 2 hours we chop around. Once this little candle right here, well, actually it was this one right here. You know, we bust that opening range break right there that it had set up. Entry signal here, comes down here, finally breaks that opening range break. Plenty of time to add to that position through this little area here, and you could have enjoyed a little bit more downside. But just as with a lot of trades, whether they're short or long in this fickle market, if we didn't take those cookies, boom, right back up and kind of flat it out for the rest of the day. So notice this on a lot of short things I was tracking today. Got good moves initially from the key levels, but if you didn't take that money before the bounce, well, it just kind of evaporated slowly. So a little bit of add opportunity in the RAD trade, and that's really about it. A little bit of spread, one good trade around, and a little bit of add opportunity in the RAD, but it was just kind of slim pickings from old Holly today.
Yeah, and going back to that RAD, Jamie, this is where you guys have the advantage, you know, over Holly, where you could see there was much more to gain if you were when man machine kind of takes over. You know, you definitely had a nice profits there at the lows. Holly moderate is designed to hold it until the end of the day. But if you're watching the market and the market's bouncing, you know, maybe, you know, that's where man takes over, uses common sense. Got great gains here. Market's bouncing. I'm going to bang out my profits and not let this thing bounce all the way back up to a potential flat, you know. So always looking at all the variables in the market when you're trading, for sure.
Absolutely. So I'll kick it back over to you, Andy.
All righty. All right, let me move my questions panel. I'm on one monitor here where I can still kind of see questions coming in. So yeah, last week, I'm just going to pull up these windows that I had that I shared with you. One is a long swing, okay, and the other one is a short swing. Now, when I was talking about last week, these are not windows that are designed to like momentum trade. In other words, you're chasing after stocks that, even though they're hitting lows on the daily time frame, they've had a nice move in the opposite direction and now are potentially reversing. So it's kind of, even though you're buying highs and hitting lows on the intraday, it's still not a chase on the daily, if that makes sense. So for example, one of the really good ones today, well, I'll just use this for an example. Now this is a wisdom tree equity fund, is, you know, probably not, you know, as a matter of fact, let me pull up something else like Lyft here. Now that took too long. Let's go here a little bit earlier, because there was one really, really sweet one today. But here's what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's your daily. The stock is pulled back on the 5-day time frame. Okay, and now what happens is you're getting the reversal here. So even though you're buying highs of the day, and this probably would have triggered earlier as soon as it took out yesterday's high. So even though you're buying highs, it's a contrarian play on the daily. In other words, a potential reversal. And the same thing with the shorts. You're doing just the opposite. The stocks have had a move up for, say, 5 days, and now they're reversing to the downside. Now, the key is when to put these in play. Okay, so I'm just going to take a look at the SPYs, and this is where you can kind of, in a market that's really not going anywhere like we're seeing right now, a lot of chop back and forth with, you know, probably some, you know, bias to the downside right now, even though we're really not far from all-time highs in the SPY. You can see over the last couple of weeks, we've kind of topped out and we're kind of trending lower. So this is what I would do. I'm looking at areas like this, maybe on this day right here. I hope you guys can see it. I'm sorry, I don't have my pen going, but this is where I would look for shorts to look for shorts coming through, stocks that have kind of, you know, bounced up for 2 or 3 days and are potentially rolling over. Today, okay, you've had basically 4 days today going into the day. Looked like the tape was ugly. Qs were hitting lows, SPYs were breaking their 50-day moving average. But what happens is, and when you get these little wicks down, and this is when I started covering my Tesla, because I know how stubborn this market can be, you know, these little downward wicks, bottoming tails we call them. You got to be careful with something like this. So maybe in a case like this is when you start looking at this pullback above 50 SMA long. Okay, you're being contrarian. A lot of people are thinking short right now, but you may be thinking, well, the market, buy the dippers are always coming in. Maybe I'm going to look for some buying opportunities right now. I think that part of it's easier to do for a lot of people. It's this shorting that's very difficult. And when we look at some of your guys' picks for our price alert contest, you guys did a great job. And you know, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be a teacher right here, but because I know a lot of you guys know what you're doing anyway, but I just know a lot of traders have a hard time with shorting, okay? And that's logical because, like I said last week, I think 70% of the time the market is going up. So most people like to go long in shorts. You're scared, you get on the wrong side, it could rip you. I understand all that, but if we do get into a bearish tape for a longer period of time, it's going to really help you to be able to do this. Trust me, from a long-time trader, it can be very beneficial. So what I want to show you today is this is going back to this day right here in the SPYs, okay? And instead of, you know, looking for longs, all right, what if you were to been playing shorts on this day? And so let's just kind of go through some of these trades here. And I said it for 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't like taking trades, especially swing trades in the first 30 minutes of the day, unless something really jumps out at me. But and I haven't really even, okay, there you have this one right here, would have been on this day, okay, when it took out this low. Now remember, the SPYs on this day were moving higher, okay? But if you are playing contrarian, you're still going short and doing pretty well. Let me find some better ones. I'm trying to get away from these ones that are doing such low volume. There's a beautiful one right there. Okay, you had a market come up, all right, and on this day right here, it broke down, it took out this low. Now, you would have went home about a flat that day if you were a swing trader. But nonetheless, I would like those odds. You know, I think that's where maybe added to my Tesla short was very similar to that look right there. And what happened is the next day it opened up and you had, boy, 3 days of really some good tape there. Another beautiful one right there. You see what's going on here? There is your low of the prior day and it broke it. Now going back, SPYs once again were pretty strong this day. Another one right there, you know, beautiful, 3 days of downturn. Now, we're not sure that the market is going to go down the next day. Obviously, that's not the case, but I'd like putting the odds in my favor when I'm looking at weak charts, because I have seen in this market, the way we have this rotation into different sectors, you could have a great up day in the market and your stock that you're in will still be doing this. I know you guys see it all the time. I see it in some of the longs that I'm in. The market will be going up and these things are tanking. So I think you can, another one right there. You can see on this day, they were just all over the place. Take a look at the Swabby here. Beautiful one right there, broke through that low, boom, continuation. Okay, trust me, there's not a lot of traders that are doing this. In other words, looking for shorts after you've had a couple of good, up days, a bounce day, and then a follow through the next day. They're thinking long, and you can hardly blame them in this market. But as long as the market stays in this funk that it's in other words, these Qs are staying under pressure, I think this might be, a strategy, that can work. And I trust me, it's worked very good in Tesla and a couple of other shorts for me as well. Beautiful one right there. See, look at this right here. Bounced up in here and then look, took out that low and then continued down. And you can still actually be in this. It's below its 200-day moving average. All right, that's the short side. Now let's do this, okay? You're coming into the day, just like I said, okay? A lot of people are nervous right now. They're, you know, selling. And I'm not saying just blindly go in and buy, you know, start buying when the market's getting crushed. No, you don't want to do that. But when you start seeing some action like this, you see a couple of bottoming wicks down here, even though it's below the 50, you know, it's showing some resolve as far as how low this market wants to go. Even though the Qs may have looked a little bit uglier, the spies were digging in. There was a couple of sectors, the banking sectors, the home building sector was strong today. It doesn't take, it seems like it doesn't take much to hold up these spies. Okay, so if you see this, maybe you're going to play a little bit of contrarian. Maybe you're going to say, okay, market's digging in. I'm going to pull up my long swing and see what I see. There's more available. Let me go back and go to more here and see what we got. A lot of reversals today. You can see there's still more available. I'm going to go back to about 9 o'clock, or wait, when this market, you know what, 10 o'clock may be good. We may be good right here, because I would not have been, you know, looking long right through here when the market's doing a horseshoe to the downside, the rainbow of death we call it. But once it dug in right here around the, say, 10:30 mark, maybe I would start looking. And there's a great example of one right there that you would have seen right here, right when it took out this high from yesterday. Okay. You know, maybe it runs up to this 10-period moving average and rolls back over. That's fine, but I still like those odds. I still like a stock that's doing a reversal after 4, you know, down days. So that is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Another good one right there. And now this one's back above all its moving averages. So once again, there's probably a lot of fear, you know, in the marketplace today because of the action we're seeing, especially the last couple of days in the Qs and the IWM. But I think once you saw that market, like I said, put in those bottoming tails, that's a pretty one right there as it took out yesterday's high. Okay, because here's the thing, you're basically, let me know, Jamie, I have this thing kind of, my questions, if I need to answer anything.
Oh, no, we're good. We're just getting requests for those windows, and I was just telling everybody you'll drop them in the chat area before we're done.
Yes, these are 2 of my favorite swing trading windows because it's a good entry regardless of whether it works or not. Like this trip right here, you know, recently up here to multi-month high, you've had some, you know, down drafts for about 4 days, and then you get a bar reversal. Okay, to me, that is a great entry. Now, if it doesn't work out, that's fine. You act accordingly, okay? You cut your losses. But if it does, okay, and we do get some follow through, you can get, you know, possibly $10 out of this trade. So good one there. And yes, I will trade this. And now my system is trying to freeze up on me here. Okay, another good one there with a nice volume bar. Yeah, you're just seeing one after another. Beautiful. So once again, it's tricky. I think it's being the contrarian that will make this, you know, beneficial. It's not waiting for the market to have 3, you know, up days in a row and then pull up this. I wouldn't pull it up during that time. Okay. You might find something interesting for sure, but boy, when you've had a few days of pullback in the market, this is a good one to pull up. Now, if we have a couple of days in especially the Qs, because that's been the weaker sector, it's been coming out. So let's say we have a couple of good days in the Qs and it gets back up here close to this 50 again, and it can't get through. Okay, what I would do, this is when I'd pull up this short swing right here, because what you're going to see is if it can't get through again and it starts to weaken and roll back over, you're going to see some beautiful entries coming through this one to the short side. And that's, I think, until this market decides what direction it's going to go, I think it could be a great strategy to play this kind of contrarian, you know, sell the strength, buy the weakness type of stuff. Keep an eye on the Qs because they're really not showing a whole lot of resolve at all. But, you know, so if they do roll back over and take out yesterday's lows, which could happen, you know, I would wait for some sort of, if that happens again, do kind of like what I was suggesting today in the SPYs. Maybe look for some bottoming tails, some buyers stepping in, holding up the market. Okay, you don't want to rush in and buying this if all hell breaks loose. So that's the ticket. That's the key to it right there. And yes, let me share these with you here. I'll just dig them up for over here so I don't. And there's the long swing. And I'll put them in the chat panel, guys. And the short swing. And very much the same content as last week, guys. But I when I have something that is working, I really want to drive it home, and because I think a lot of people get stuck in trading the same thing. I can tell you right now, because even the long lived traders that we have here at Trade Ideas, people with 20 years plus, you get accustomed to something that works, and all of a sudden the momentum's not there like it used to be. These moves aren't lasting as long as to the upside, and they're rolling over on you. Excuse me, let me get a drink of water. That's when it's time to step back and say to yourself, and trust me, traders who do this are the ones that's going to, you know, stand the test of time. You know, the quicker you realize that things aren't working anymore and you need to adapt, okay, the much better off you're going to be. I can't tell you how many traders that just keep going back to the well, and even though it's not working, it's worked in the past. I made a ton of money on it, but man, the momentum's not there anymore. What am I going to do? Well, you adapt is what you do, and you come up with a different strategy. The thing about shorts, when shorts fall apart, they can fall apart quick, so you don't have to take a lot of size. I'm not playing a lot of size in Tesla at all. I mean, just think about it this way. In Tesla, you can play 10 shares and make $1,000 really easy, only if you're playing 10 shares, because 100 points in Tesla is nothing. You can see right here, it went from 700 all the way down to 550. So, you know, when you learn, you want to start off playing shorts. I don't care how much conviction that you might have. You want to play with small size, because when markets do, they go down a lot faster than they go up. So you can, in 2 or 3 days, it's easy, very easy to make 10%, you know, on a trade and on the short side. So don't feel like you have to go in it with big size. There's certain things I stay away from. Biotechs, any company that might be a takeout target. You know, usually I'm shorting the big boys, you know, like Tesla. Hey, who's going to buy Tesla? But all right, let me, I shared those. Now I want to talk about something I put together right here. And it was interesting, Jamie, because I put this together. It looks like about, well, it's still showing after hours data, which I'm surprised. I'm just using a new low. I don't know why it's still, but anyway, I put this together about, an hour and a half before the market closed, which all I have in here is stocks hitting 20-day highs and stocks hitting 20 days lows. So even with this rally that we had in the last hour and a half, there were more stocks hitting 20-day lows than they were hitting 20 days highs. Now, the pullback in the market has a lot to do with that, but still interesting. So what I wanted to share with you, like I said, Jamie has ones that he uses all the time. I need to pay more attention to it, but I do look out for Jamie's tweets all the time and see how the compare count's going in the first 15 minutes of the day. That can be a very good measurement of, you know, the direction of the market. I wanted to give somebody, you guys, if we get in this market that it looks like we're just kind of chopping around, going sideways for a few days, maybe pull up something like this to give you, you know, so you can see what's really happening in the underlying, in the underlying assets of the market. Because let's face it, like in the Qs, all you need is 5 stocks to perform well, and you could be hitting highs left and right, because 4 or 5 stocks make up, you know, 45% of the composite. So what I configured here is, and this is what you configure it when you pull one up, a compare count, you got to configure the green data, and then you got to configure the red data. All right, so the green, all I did was I wanted to see stocks that are hitting a 20-day high, and I wanted the average daily volume to be at least 1 million shares a day. So in other words, I don't want to see stocks doing 2 or 3, even 5, 4, 500,000. I want stocks that are pretty liquid, tradable, but I'm not using a market cap or anything. They just have to be doing at least 1 million shares a day on average. So that's going to eliminate, you know, probably half the stocks out there, but that's okay. Okay, most of the stocks that are, you know, have a big market cap, they're going to trade 1 million shares a day, no problem at all. All right, and on the red side, same thing, just the opposite. Okay, I want to see stocks that are hitting a 20-day low. Same thing, have to trade at least 1 million shares a day. You want to keep those identical when you're looking at the red data and the green data, so you want the configuration to be identical. And then I wish I would have turned this on earlier, but something I just kind of put together in the last hour and a half of the market. So I think what this will do, guys, when you get the market that is kind of just chopping around, maybe the SPYs come up here and they're, you know, close to breaking out of this 10 period here. Maybe the Qs have a nice bounce and get back up here, you know, above their 10 period as well. Maybe have something like this running. And you can use whatever you like, you know, you could do a 10-day high if you want to, or maybe even that may even be better. I just put together a 20-day high here, because if the market bounces up, this is something I want to look at. Okay, I want to see what's happening, because right now it feels like there's a lot of deterioration in the underlying assets. So in other words, a lot more stocks hitting new lows and hitting new highs. Steve and I went through the sectors on Tuesday, Steve did, and we saw a lot of the sectors are under pressure. You know, not too many of them were looking bullish. And I haven't looked today, but if I did, I'm thinking I would see the same thing. I think maybe the home builders had a nice little bounce today, and they did. That was a very strong move in the home builders. But other than that, I don't think there's a lot of them that's looking like that. In other words, above their 10 period moving average, and most of them are down below their 20 period moving average. So this would be a good tool, and I'll share it with you as well. Maybe just to have run it on your second monitor over there so you can take a look at it. You know, have it start up when the market starts up in the morning, and try not to log off of your machine, because when you are out of your layout, because what happens when you log out of a compare count window and log back in, it resets and starts over. So you're going to lose all that data that accumulated on it. But yeah, let me share this, and then we'll dive into those price alerts. All right. Yeah, share and save to cloud. My mom's computer doesn't like the new, come on. Dev, there it goes. Dev version that I'm on. All right, I'll just call it a 20-day high-low compare count. All right, there you goes, guys. And like I said, you can create your own. I just I think a 10-day high would work pretty good too. All right, now for you boy and girl plungers out there, let's see how good you did in the shorting price alerts that we did. All right, I took everything off. A couple of them did not trigger.
Hey, Andy, real
And
quick here. Hey, to
sure,
interrupt. What was that last
no,
link that you dropped in, the 20-day high?
that was the compare count 20-day high versus 20-day low.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, so let's, I took out all my other price alerts right now because really the market's in shambles and I didn't really have anything good in there. But looky here, guys. I mean, we had some really good winners. Jeff led the way, Jeff S. with his GILT. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Remember how I was showing you the screen? Well, Jeff just called out a trade that earned 11%, and really, at the lows of the day, it was probably closer to 13 or 14%. So, very good trade there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. What you're looking for stocks that have bounced off up, but still kind of below their moving average, and a very good call by Jeff and Aja. Great trade there. And you can see the price alert, weakness daily. That's, you know, I'm not sure where you found it, but that's the kind of stuff you want to look for. You know, it did break below its moving averages and some nice follow through. Walt in SQ had a nice little trade in, or a price alert in SQ, and you can see once again this one had a lot more. So really, you know, you could have covered these things a lot earlier today, of course, when the market started bouncing, and done much better. Stephen M. TITP had a great short right there. You know, to me, once it got down here to this moving average, that would have been a nice little cover. So he would have been probably up there around 15% at one time in that one. Good trade there. Good. You guys know what you're doing, I think. KJ had a nice one in Boozy. Now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that. Oh, I missed Stan. Stan had a good one in FSLY. Of course, it bounced back a little bit today, but this one was still kind of under pressure. This one still may work and take out this low over here. Now go to Boozy for KJ, and I'm a little bit puzzled about the alert in this one. Not sure how it's showing it up. Yeah, I'm puzzled there. I don't know what's going on in Boozy. Wait, these things are jumping around on me. That's what's happening. Oh well.
Yeah, because entry was 23.65, yeah.
Okay, 23.65.
But it is 22.50 in post market.
Ah, that's what it is. Okay, thank you, Jamie. Yeah, for some reason. Okay. So I'm not sure I can give you that, KJ. but anyway, TCAT, Benson gambling on TCAT was way out of the money. I got tickled on this day, but came back and actually got in the money at one time. Now it's basically flat. XLE didn't work for Martin. That was one of the ones, energy stocks that just did not have any follow through there. And that's what I was talking about, guys. It's hard to short that momentum once they get kind of, you know, a little bit overbought. It seems that's when the buyers like to come in. But really good, guys. I mean, I'm impressed because the market didn't sell off that hard, but you guys did very well for the most part. So let's do this, and you guys can do short or long this time. I'm going to see what you want to do. I'm going to race them, and you guys start give me a stock, a symbol, and then give me the price, and I'm going to assume it's a long unless you tell me it's a short. Let me go ahead and delete these, and we can get started. So once again, guy, you know the drill, most of you. Just drop me a symbol in there. Tell me if it's a long or a short, and I'm going to get a swig of water here while I wait. I need a price. I need a price on that UPST. Okay, George Young, snap. 48. Short. All right.
Mm-hmm. And while Andy's inputting that one on the CCL, we need to know if that's long or short. We also need a price, please.
And also that, see, yeah, and that UPST, or tell us which one you get. One, you only get one. Tell us which direction you want to go in that. Game 201 long. Oh man, he's gonna play the meme stock here. Who is that on game? KJ.
That is KJ.
All righty.
Next,
RC.
we got
Go
RCMT,
Okay.
390 long and strong.
Ooh, I can see that. Something got into it today. I'm going to stick it in at 390 for a long trade. And that is for Aja. He told me I was saying his name right the other day. I think he's just making me feel good though.
There you
Okay,
go.
that UPSL above 133. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that is a long.
But it's actually UPST.
Oh. And what was it, Jamie? 133.
133.
Okay. All righty. And
Leaf.
Leaf. Leaf was one of the stocks I was long, and look at this ugly bar. I mean, luckily I was in it. You know, I started buying it back over here on this day, so I was in it at a good price, and I scared about the market yesterday, so I told everybody I sold half on the close yesterday. Thank God I did, because that was one ugly candle today. Leaf at what price, Jamie?
703.
Okay. And that is for
Bernard.
Bernard. Oh man. AAP. Oh no, we only get one. Abhishek, is that it? I'm sorry. Yeah, we only get one. I'm sorry about that, buddy. Okay, STKS.
Ooh, that's a big
And,
priced one.
well,
oh,
I think
$8.80. Okay, $8.80. I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. Vincent. Okay, Slava with WEC at 92.38 long. Oh, looking for a little backup here. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's looking at today's low. I like that. Got to remember to put long in here. And that is for Slava. Stan G with FCX long at 31.75. I'm going to give you a penny early there, Stan G, just because I'm being lazy. Oh, wait a minute. I lost my thing here. Okay. WC, I got that. All right. Guys, do you have any more? Okay. Going once, going twice. I'm going to have to ask okay, Mike Skinner says he likes RCMT setup. Let's take a look real quick. Wait, didn't somebody do that one? Oh yeah, okay, he's just commenting, I guess. Okay, Stephen M says FSTX short at 13.15. Give him a little head start there. Penny, 2 pennies high. Okay, Jeff has IRMD short at, oh wait.
IRDM, or is it IRMD?
No, you're right. You're right. I guess I just put it wrong.
Yeah, Iridium, the satellite.
Yeah.
Are they still in the satellite phones?
He's got a short at 39. I don't know. I'm not familiar with him, Jamie. Okay, I like what he's doing here. He's gonna see, that's beautiful. Go let it go right up into those averages and short it. And that's a short. And that was from Jeff. George. Okay. George Young. I think you already have one, George. Don't you, Snap? Okay. Yeah, we'll just do one. And I got to run now anyway. We've got to bring Scott in, but oh, let me get Neo in there. I've kind of been waiting for that one too. It got away from me today. I'm looking for it to come down here to this, as a matter of, to this 200-day moving average, but long Neo at 39.19. 39.19. Okay, looking for a bar reversal there. And that's the way to play it too. So, and that would be a Walt. Yes, thank you, KJ. All right, let me go ahead and save these for everybody. All right, so what I'm going to do is share. I'm going to share these and drop them in the chat window. And PAs, price alerts. There is your code link, cloud link, I should say. And so everybody has access to that. I see some pretty good ones in there, guys, so you might want to grab that and put it to use. I'm taking a look at these. I'm telling you, some good traders in here. Oh, 37.22 on Neo. Okay, I won't share it, but I will definitely edit it in here for it. So if you guys are, why is it not letting me? There we go. Edit price alert, and you're saying it should be 37.22. Okay. 22 long, save. Uh-oh, went off. You're cheating. Oh wait, that was George. George, I thought you already had a Snap. Now you got me changing things. Hold on here. That was 39. I'm going to put this back for Walt. And I think it was 39. I think it was 39.17, but let me just, okay, there we go. All right. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, George. All right, guys, you got them all. I'm going to bring Scott in here. He's going to walk us out. And yeah, thanks, everybody, for your kind words. And bring in Scott here. Uh-oh, did we lose Scott?
Paging Mr. Scott. Well,
if he doesn't, let me check to see if he's still on the, wait, I think I hear him.
There, okay. I had to unmute myself
and
from
Andy,
another interface.
the last link you dropped
Wasn't working.
price alerts.
It wasn't the price alerts?
No, I'm asking, the last link was the price alerts,
Yes,
correct?
it was the price
Okay.
alerts.
Yeah. All right, so they got that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple items on the way out. Make sure you grab the earnings e-season book. I mean, the earnings ebook. It is free and it helps out a lot with how to interpret earnings season and take it to your advantage. TradeIdeas.com/earnings is the URL. Just go ahead and grab it. It's got some cloud links that you can import into your layouts to use right after you read it. There's a podcast. Go ahead and check that out. If you subscribe, you'll get the next episode delivered directly to your device. Search for Trade Ideas Podcast wherever you listen to your pods. Add us as that subscription. Also, check out the previous episodes. There's some really good interviews that we've released recently. There's a code opportunity. Use it to save 15% off your first month or year of a new Trade Ideas subscription or upgrade. Let's go ahead and grab that and use it before the end of the month. You can find Jamie on Twitter at QuantBot. Steve is at TISteveG. He usually hosts some of our other webinars. We've also got at Trade Ideas. Facebook.com/Trade Ideas Pro is the best page to, is the best /Trade Ideas Pro is our Facebook page. So go ahead and like us there and share that with your friends. And info@TradeIdeas.com is the email address to send all your questions to. It goes directly into our help desk software. It gets you the help that you need as fast as possible. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you all. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend if I don't see you.
See you tomorrow.